So the number one question that I've been getting in the comments is knockout. Why didn't you get a red eye? 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 And the answer is quite simple. I just couldn't have. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video, man. So you can tell I'm in a car that makes it's a car vlog. You already know what's going down when I come around. Let's get into it. I've got car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around because you're in the right place. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. So the number one question that I've been getting in the comments, man, you guys have been tearing your boy up. You're making me feel bad, man. I'm supposed to be happy about my purchase, but you guys won't let me get over the fact that I did not get a red eye Hellcat. As you know, all Hellcats in 23 are considered jailbreaks, right? So if somebody says, oh, I got a jailbreak Hellcat, you might have to ask them further questions as to whether or not it's a red eye jailbreak Hellcat at 807 or if it's a Hellcat jailbreak at 717. Well, mine is a Hellcat jailbreak at 717. I know a lot of you are probably upset and disappointed, but honestly, guys, and you have watched my channel long enough to know my mindset as it pertains to, for one, getting what you want, but two, most importantly, making it make sense from a financial perspective, right? So let me break it down. Right now, if you were to go on the Dodge website, they've got the SRT Hellcat wide body jailbreak Charger, that is, going for $82,650. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, once you option that out, taxes and all that stuff, you're looking at about 87, 88, 89. I think I walked out right at 87 for mine. Leather seat, sunroof, SRT logo, all that shit, right at 87. The SRT Hellcat Redeye, however, is going for $91,250. So we're looking at almost about a $10,000 difference. Yeah, a $10,000 difference there. That $10,000 difference gets you, let's see here, I'm not a mathematician, but I do want to break it down for you on camera. An extra 90 horsepower, right? So from 717 to 807, you get an extra 90 horsepower. And not only do you get an extra 90 horsepower, but the most important thing that Hellcat Redeye owners have that I don't is a red eye emblem and the Hellcat emblem on the side of the car, right? That's the most important thing that red eye owners have that I don't, right? Obviously, I'm being facetious. Of course, the power is the biggest difference, right? 807 to 717, it's substantial. 90 horsepower is relatively substantial, if you ask me. I think if you were to line up a Hellcat versus the red eye would get the Hellcat almost all the time. Now, of course, 807 on paper and 717 on paper is something completely different when it comes time to actually putting them down on rubber. You know, the numbers change significantly. There's a difference between horsepower as far as what you see on the website and on paper, and horsepower to the crank, to the wheel, so on and so forth. You guys know that. But the biggest reason that I didn't get a red eye, guys, and you're gonna think that this is stupid. So it's one big reason and then kind of supplemental reasons. The biggest reason is I waited too long to put in my order. I've told you guys that I put my order in for this particular car in March of 2023. So what was that? You know, it's July now, June, May, April. So about 3 months ago. So a little over 3 months ago, a little under 3 months ago, rather. I put my order in March 22nd, I believe. It's the day that I sat down with Josh Welch down at Keffer, and I put the order in for the Hellcat. And the reason that we put the order in at that point, and he was pulling my leg to do it right then and there, is because that was around the time that orders were getting slim for Hellcats. And it just so happened that particular day, I came in for, I think it was an oil change or something, and I'm sitting there talking to him, and he's like, listen, Knockout, you need to go ahead and put your order in ASAP, because at the rate that these Hellcats are being ordered and built, you may not have an allocation if you wait another couple weeks or a month. So it was because of him that I had to put this order in at the time that I did. And unfortunately, in March of 2023, my particular dealership, I'm not saying it's about all dealerships. I'm sure I probably could have went, you know, South Carolina, Florida, Virginia, somewhere wild, Georgia. But at that particular dealership, their allocations for red eyes were closed. They no longer had any allocations for red eye Hellcats. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, you know what? You guys know the type of YouTuber that I am, the type of Mopar guy that I am. I don't do burnouts. I don't swing my car. I will get on the highway and play. I love the top speed stuff, but it's like the likelihood of you seeing me on the track racing somebody for some type of monetary gain or some type of money or something like that, some type of compensation, is slim to none, right? At the end of the day, I love driving this car because of what it is. I love the power and all that stuff. But the likelihood that I'm going to ever go 220 miles an hour as opposed to 200, which is what I have in the dash right now, is very unfucking likely, right? And that's something you got to be honest with yourself, right? So another thing that you get with the Redeye that you don't get with the regular Hellcat is a top speed of 220. So in theory, you can do 20 miles faster than a standard Hellcat. So you get the 90 horsepower, and then you get 20 miles faster of a speedometer, or 20 more miles on the speedometer. Let me ask you something. How many of you in the chat have done 200 miles an hour in your Hellcat? And I'll ask another question. How many of you in the chat have done 220? My point exactly. Less than 5%. You know what I'm saying? Less than 5% of you have done that. So long story short, I'm sitting back at it and I'm like, hold up. It looks the exact same. The only way that you would tell a Redeye from a standard Hellcat is the Redeye emblem in the Hellcat, which, you know, people buy from eBay every single day, or eBay, Amazon, all that stuff every single day. And that's it. The car looks the exact same. If you were to sit inside the car, the only giveaway as to it being a Redeye over a Hellcat is if you look at the speedometer and it says 220 as opposed to 200. To my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not saying this just because I have a Hellcat and I'm trying to justify it, but the options are the same in 2023 for the most part. I believe the Redeye in the past had the after run chiller mode, right? And the regular Hellcats didn't. In 2022 and 2021, the Redeye had the after run chiller, and the regular Hellcats did not, or did not at the time. Well, mine has that. I have that option in my SRT pages, right? The after run chiller, where basically if you've been running your car all day long, you can turn the engine off or turn the car off and let it chill. That was a mode. Everything else, I really believe that Hellcats come standard with that Redeyes don't. Now, with that being said, under the engine is a different story. With the engine, you get a bigger air box for the Redeye. I think you get more fortified internals, things of that sort. So obviously, as it pertains to the engine and the performance, the Redeye is another beast entirely. Everything is substantially fortified, bigger air box. I think bigger supercharger, all that stuff. So, you know, there are differences when you get under the hood of it. But I mean, from the looks of it on the inside and outside, you would be hard pressed to tell the difference. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, and I'm looking at me personally, the only reason that I could have justified buying the Redeye over a Hellcat would be for the sake of bragging rights, right? I got a Redeye, you got a Hellcat, right? People, like in the Dodge community, people will separate themselves and segregate themselves from everyone else. They'll let you know immediately, oh no, you got a Hellcat, I got a Redeye Hellcat. All right, so yeah, we got Hellcats, but mine's a Redeye, yours is not. So that would be the only reason that I personally would want a Redeye, just for the bragging rights. But at the end of the day, guys, like I said, looking at the price here, let's talk about it from a financial perspective. $82,650 for a Jailbreak Hellcat, which is $717. $91,250 for a Redeye. So we're talking a little under $10,000 difference. And you're getting 90 more horsepower. You're getting a Redeye emblem and stronger internals. I'm straight. I can do a lot with $10,000. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. I'm speaking subjectively here. For all my Redeye owners, shout out to you. You guys got that big, either 797 from the old ones or 807 now. You guys got that big one. And my, you know, it's all love. For real, it's all love. I'm strictly speaking about me specifically. But I can do a lot with $10,000. You know, and when you finance that down, I can do a lot more with that money on the monthly basis, as opposed to putting it in a car that, you know, I'm never going to see 220 in. You know, I'm never going to see 220 in a Redeye, at least not me, the way I drive. So you have to make decisions that work for you. Don't make decisions based off of what other people say. Don't make decisions based off of what social media is talking about. Make decisions that work for you. And it's one of those things like, if I can make that decision with me being who I am, and I'm not tooting my own horn or nothing, but like being an influencer, YouTuber, whatever you want to call it, and I'm still thinking financially, you know, and from a financial perspective, does it make sense? you can do it too. And I highly suggest that. I've always stressed to you that at the end of the day, you need to make it make sense for you. The Hellcat made perfect sense for me, not only from a financial perspective, but just the way I drive. You guys know how I drive. In my Scat Pack, I did 3 burnouts. 3 burnouts for the 3 years that I had that. And I did 2 of those burnouts on the day that I sold the damn car. So I did 1 burnout in the first 70,000 miles that I had on that car, and then 2 burnouts the day that I sold it. I don't beat up my cars, right? I do like to go fast. I like to play. If you run up on me on a highway, I'm still in my break-in period, so I can't do nothing with you right now. And honestly, I'm not going to do anything until about 1,000 miles, to be real with you. But if you run up on me on the highway and you give me the 3 horns, the beep, 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 I'm gone. And I'm going to go with you, and we can play. But that's all your boy's doing. I don't get stupid in my cars. This is a $89,000, $87,000 automobile. Let's just say 90. 90 sounds better. This is a $90,000 automobile. I'm not fucking this up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not swinging. I'm not doing donuts and burnouts. Tires are expensive. Gas is expensive. Everything on this car is expensive. I don't even want to know how much I got to pay for oil changes in this car. I don't even care. My dealership makes sure you call and schedule an appointment if you have a Hellcat to get an oil change. Like, I can't just pop up and say, hey, listen, I need an oil change. You got to schedule an appointment to get an oil change if you drive a Scat or a Cat at my dealership. I'm not sure how it is with yours. So I don't even want to think about that. So factoring all those factors in, or factoring all of those variables in, financially, it just made perfect sense for me to get me a Hellcat and be happy with it. And I love this fucking car. I don't need any more power. Now, obviously, I'm going to modify this thing to hell. Like, I want to make this car a legitimate beast. I want to make it a legitimate build. You guys know that. I didn't do anything with the Scat because I knew that I was going to be getting rid of it. But this car, I plan on keeping this as long as I possibly can. I plan on handling this down to, you know, my future generation, my kids or whatever, whenever time comes. But I'm perfectly happy with 717, man. I love the fact that I have a Hellcat, you know, and I'm happy with the decision that I made. I mean, financially, on a monthly basis, my payment, it works. Insurance works, everything. I've never been in an accident. Literally, I've never been in an accident in my life. So my insurance is relatively cheap for the type of car that this is. I know people that are paying $300-400 for RTs because their insurance is so fucked up. Like, they've had so many accidents. But for what this car is, for what it does, my insurance makes sense. My monthly payment makes sense. Everything makes sense. It works. And that's why I went with this car. So, I mean, I guess you could say the top 2 reasons was, number 1, I literally waited too late to order a red eye. And number 2, to justify that, financially, it makes sense. 717 is plenty of horsepower for me. I don't know about you. I know some of you guys are driving McLarens, Lamborghinis, red eyes, demons, all that stuff. So your threshold for speed and power is a lot higher than mine. Let me explain something to you. My first car was a Honda Civic. You feel me? 99 Honda Civic. That thing would do 110 miles an hour, but it would take it about an hour to get up to that. You know what I'm saying? So power was not a concern. My second one was a Charger rally package that I bought in 2015, V6. All right, no power there. I did have sport mode. And then, of course, my Scat and my Cat. And you know what I'm saying? So my threshold for power is relatively low. So I don't need a demon. I don't need a demon 170. I don't need a red eye. I would like it. It'd be cool. But if it comes at the expense of paying $18, $19, $2,000 a month, I'm straight. I'm straight and I'm good with this, my Hellcat. This is my perfect car that I've always envisioned. And this shit came with more stuff than what I anticipated. And I'll do a video of all of the options. But I mean, leather seats, sunroof, the collision detection, the vehicle detection, all that shit comes on this car. Like, I'm good. I'm perfectly fine with a standard basic 717 horsepower Hellcat. I love this car. And I love when I pop the hood and I see that big ass supercharger with that trash box of an air box that I'm getting rid of, and I'm going to put a leg maker in there. But I love this shit. And I love my Hellcat, man. And I love the decision that I made. I love the price that I'm paying. I'm in love with my monthly payment. It all makes sense. It's not one of those things where your boy's going to be eating Chick-fil-A and cook out. I can still go out and live my life. And I tell you guys that all the time. Don't put yourself in a financial situation with cars to where you have to compromise your lifestyle. Like, a car should supplement your lifestyle, not force you to make compromises. If you got to eat Chick-fil-A and McDonald's because your Scat Pack or Hellcat payment is coming out at the end of the month. That's a problem. Your priorities are out of order. At this point, this car fits into everything. And the fact that it had my name on it, the fact that when it came off the truck, it had 2 miles on it. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better car, man. So, I mean, practicing what I preach making sure that the car makes sense. I preach making sure that the payment makes sense and my payment in my car makes sense. And I'm perfectly happy where I am and with what I have. And I highly suggest you guys listen to that and take that advice. You know what I'm saying? Do not listen to social media. Social media will have you thinking that Hellcats are slow. Social media will have you thinking that if it's not a red eye or a demon, it's slow. Social media will have you thinking that every car that you own needs to be 100,000 or more. Do not believe that shit because it's just that. It's bullshit. I hate the curse on my channel, but it's just that. All right? Make it make sense for you. This Hellcat makes sense for me. Right? And if you're in a Scat Pack right now or RT and it makes sense, stay where you are. All right? At the end of the day, you got a Hemi. And even if you don't have a Hemi, you got a rally package, you got a Charger or a Challenger, you got a Mopar. You're in the family. It's all good. Your payments are making sense. It makes sense. I've seen guys, and I'm using this example as a specific example because I've actually seen this. I've seen guys driving Scats that I'm not gonna say that because that's too close to home. But long story short, I've seen guys that prioritize their car over their lifestyle. They're paying $500, $600, $700, $800 a month for a car, and because of that, everything's tight. Everything else is tight, which defeats the purpose because it's like, you know, you drive these nice cars, you want to attract women, but you have this nice car and you have this beautiful woman, but you can't afford both of them. So you tell the woman to chill and it's just you and your car. I've always told you, no car will ever be a house. No car will ever be a major accomplishment in most people's lives, you know? So with that being said, man, that's ultimately the reason that I went with the Hellcat over Redeye. Number one, I just waited too late and I couldn't get my hands on one. But two, the Hellcat makes sense for me financially. And I told you guys that all the time. So just make sure that it all makes sense. If it does not make sense, walk away. Walk the hell away, you know? But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? That was my justification or my reason for owning a Hellcat over a Redeye. It just makes sense for me, my lifestyle, financially, the way I drive. You guys know that I don't get too reckless with my car. I don't need 807 horsepower to drive in Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't need 797. I would love it. It'd be cool. I'm sure I could utilize it somewhere, but I don't need it. 717 is plenty. Plenty for you, boy. All right. So for all you guys out there that are on the fence, should I get a Redeye or a Hellcat? Get what makes sense for you. For you and you only. Don't let social media influence you. Don't let your homeboys influence you. Get what works for you. If it doesn't work, stick with what you got. You know what I'm saying? I miss my V6. I'm doing my best to try to get 18 miles to the gallon on this car, and I cannot do it. For one, I got a heavy foot, and two, it's just not possible. You know what I'm saying? I miss my V6 Charger. So if you got a V6, a RT, shout out to my RT brothers and sisters. Keep your car. Your car is perfectly fine. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Keep your car. You are fine, right? Scat Pack, Hellcat, same thing. Keep your car. You do not need the upgrade. You are perfectly fine where you are, right? So as always, it's been your boy Knockout 360, man. Just wanted to kind of explain exactly why I did what I did, how I did it. As always, it's been your boy Knockout. I think I just said that. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. See you in the next one. Peace.